What if I told you that childhood sexual abuse doesn't just leave emotional scars, it physically changes the brain? If you've ever felt like your mind is working against you, if you struggle with trust, anxiety, or even remembering parts of your childhood, it's not just in your head. The trauma rewired your brain. The worst part? This happens when a child is still developing, when their brain is supposed to be learning love, safety, and trust. But instead, it learns fear, shame, and survival. In this video, I'll break down exactly how sexual abuse impacts brain development, why survivors often struggle with mental health later in life, and most importantly, what can be done to heal. You're not broken. Your brain adapted to survive, and today, we're going to talk about how to take back control. Let's understand first. How is child sexual abuse different from other types of trauma? Child sexual abuse is one of the most painful and confusing experiences a person can go through. What makes it even more complicated is that in most cases, the abuser isn't a stranger. It's someone the child knows, trusts, and maybe even loves. It could be a family member, a family friend, or even another child. This kind of betrayal creates a unique type of trauma called betrayal trauma. Imagine trusting someone to protect you, only for them to be the one causing harm. That kind of deep confusion can make it hard to understand what's happening, to trust others, and even to feel safe in your own body. For many survivors, the hardest part isn't just what happened, it's how it affects their thoughts, emotions, and relationships long after the abuse stops. You might feel lost, struggle to trust people, or question yourself constantly. But here's what you need to know. None of this is your fault. Your brain and body reacted the way they did to protect you. No child should ever have to go through this. How childhood trauma rewires the brain. Childhood is a time of rapid brain development where every experience, good or bad, shapes how we see the world, trust others, and even understand ourselves. When you as a child went through trauma, your brain didn't just remember the pain, it adapted to survive. Trauma changes how the brain processes emotions, stress, and decision-making. Two key areas are affected the most. The limbic system. This is the brain's emotional control center. Trauma can make it hyperactive, causing intense anxiety, fear, or emotional outbursts, even in situations that aren't dangerous. It's why some survivors feel constantly on edge or struggle with overwhelming emotions. The frontal lobe. This part helps with logic, problem-solving, and impulse control. But childhood trauma can weaken its function, making it harder to focus, make decisions, or feel in control of your actions. It's why some survivors struggle with impulsivity or find it difficult to trust their own judgment. Understanding these changes is powerful. It means the way you feel or react isn't a flaw. It's your brain adapting to keep you safe. But here's the good news. The brain can heal. With the right support, therapy, and self-awareness, survivors can rewire these patterns and take back control. The limbic system, how your brain tries to protect you. Your brain is wired for one thing above all, survival. And at the heart of that survival system is the limbic system, a part of your brain that constantly scans for danger and decides how to react. Think of it like a security alarm. The moment it senses a threat, it kicks your body into high alert. Adrenaline floods your body. Your heart races, your breathing speeds up, and your muscles tense, all preparing you to fight, run, or freeze. Your focus narrows. Everything else fades away as your brain concentrates on escaping the danger. Memories and emotions get scrambled. Your brain may block things out or even make you feel like you're outside your body. In everyday life, this system is helpful. If you saw a snake in your path, your limbic system would immediately push you to jump back or run before you even had time to think about it. What happens when trauma keeps the alarm stuck on? For survivors of child sexual abuse, the limbic system often stays on high alert even after the danger is gone. The brain tries to protect itself by blocking out memories. You might struggle to remember parts of your childhood, creating emotional numbness. To avoid overwhelming feelings, your brain may shut them down. Overreacting to certain triggers. A smell, a voice, or a place may suddenly make you anxious or afraid, even if nothing bad is happening at that moment. These are all survival strategies, your brain's way of keeping you safe when you felt powerless. But while these reactions helped you back then, They might now be interfering with your life, relationships, and ability to heal. If you're struggling with memories, emotions, or triggers, you're not alone. Understanding what's happening in your brain is the first step toward healing, and healing is possible. The limbic system and the window of tolerance. Your brain doesn't respond to every trigger the same way. Sometimes, a certain smell might instantly make you feel angry or on edge, while seeing someone who reminds you of your abuser might leave you feeling numb and disconnected. This happens because your brain processes triggers in two different ways. In hyperarousal, fight or flight mode, your brain overreacts to a trigger. You feel anxious, panicked, or overwhelmed. You become irritable or angry, sometimes even explosive. You feel like you need to escape or defend yourself. In hypoarousal, also known as shutdown mode, your brain underreacts. For example, you feel numb, detached, or frozen. You feel exhausted and unmotivated. You are hopeless, like nothing matters. Between these two extremes is what's called the window of tolerance, the ideal state where you feel balanced, in control, and able to process emotions without shutting down or feeling overwhelmed. If you've ever wondered why certain things affect you so strongly while others don't, this is why. Your brain isn't failing you, it's trying to protect you. The key to healing is helping your brain feel safe again. The frontal lobe, your brain's power to heal. Think of your frontal lobe as the CEO of your brain. It helps you think critically, evaluate situations, and make decisions. Unlike the limbic system, which reacts on instinct, the frontal lobe is responsible for logic and reasoning. How it works. Let's go back to the snake example. If you suddenly see a snake on the floor, your limbic system might panic, but then your frontal lobe steps in, assesses the situation, and realizes it's just a rubber snake from a prank. Once your frontal lobe evaluates the evidence, it signals your limbic system to calm down. The good news, and a hope. The frontal lobe is still developing well into your late 20s or even 30s, which means that as a child, this part of your brain wasn't fully equipped to process complex experiences like abuse. Instead, your limbic system took control, reacting instinctively to keep you safe. This is why childhood trauma can feel so overwhelming, because the part of your brain that could have rationalized and made sense of it wasn't ready yet. But here's the good news. Your frontal lobe never stops learning. How your frontal lobe helps you heal. Even though you can't change the past, your frontal lobe gives you the power to change your present and future by recognizing old trauma responses and learning new ways to react, challenging negative thoughts that stem from past experiences, rewiring your brain to form new, healthier habits, creating a sense of safety that allows you to heal. This means that even if trauma shaped your past, it doesn't have to define your future. You have the ability to retrain your brain, break old survival patterns, and build a life where you feel safe, empowered, and in control. Your brain is on your side. It's ready to help you heal.